Imagine for a moment the most unlikely scene you could ever witness in a courtroom. An elderly black man, visibly worn down by life on the streets, handcuffed and sitting in the defendant's chair. His clothes are tattered, the scent of homelessness clings to the air, and every eye in the room judges him before a single word is spoken. In this moment of absolute tension, he slowly raises his head with an inexplicable dignity and declares in a firm voice, "Marcus Reed, First Sergeant, United States Marine Corps." The silence that follows is deafening, because no one expected that this discarded man carried such a powerful identity. The dissonance between what we see and what we hear creates a shock that forces us to question everything we thought we knew. This brutal contrast between war hero and homeless defendant puts us face to face with a discomforting reality most would rather ignore. How many times have we walked past people on the streets and created entire narratives about their lives based solely on how they look? Marcus Reed represents thousands of veterans who, after serving their country with honor, find themselves lost in a system that has completely forgotten them. The irony is devastating. The same man who once risked his life to protect others' freedom is now stripped of his own, accused of petty crimes. It's as if society suffers from selective memory, celebrating heroes when convenient and discarding them when they become inconvenient. This contradiction exposes the fragility of our values and the superficiality of our praise. The power of this opening moment lies in its ability to shatter prejudices instantly and force us to see beyond appearances. When Marcus identifies himself as First Sergeant, he's not just stating his name and rank, he's reclaiming the humanity and dignity that society tried to erase. It's a painful reminder that every person carries a complex story, full of sacrifice and glory, hidden behind the surface. That simple but powerful declaration creates an irresistible narrative tension because we know something extraordinary is about to unfold. After all, when the truth about who Marcus really is begins to emerge, how will this courtroom react? The charges echoing through the courtroom sound almost trivial compared to the revelation we've just witnessed. Loitering and resisting arrest. Minor offenses, usually resolved with a fine or a few days in jail. But there's something in the air that makes this hearing different from every other routine case that passes through that courtroom. Judge Angela Morales, a seasoned woman who's seen it all over her decades-long career, picks up the case files with her usual professional indifference. Her eyes scan the first lines of the document, expecting yet another mundane case of public disturbance. But when she reaches the defendant's name, something extraordinary happens. Her face visibly pales, as if she's seen a ghost. In that moment, we realize we're no longer just witnessing a typical court hearing for petty crimes. Judge Morales' reaction is not simply professional, it's deeply personal, charged with an emotion she tries desperately to mask behind her judicial posture. Her years on the bench never prepared her for this specific moment where past and present collide so dramatically. It's fascinating how one name on a page can shake seemingly solid foundations and transform a bureaucratic routine into something heavy with meaning. The tension in the room becomes palpable because everyone senses something important is happening, even if they don't yet understand what. It's as if the universe conspired to bring these people together at this exact moment. This mystery is the fuel that keeps our attention laser-focused on the unfolding events. Why did Marcus Reed's name trigger such a reaction in the judge? What hidden connection exists between them that no one else in the room can grasp? These questions create irresistible narrative tension because we know the answer is about to change everything. Life has a way of delivering its most transformative moments through seemingly impossible coincidences, where fates collide in ways that defy all logic. And as we watch Judge Morales struggle to regain her composure, we can't shake the feeling that we're about to witness something that will remind us of the extraordinary power of human connection. Suddenly, the courtroom doors swing open and a figure no one expected appears. Jordan Blake, a lawyer whose expensive suit and commanding presence sharply contrast with the tense atmosphere of the room. His entrance is almost cinematic, filled with the quiet confidence of someone who walks daily through halls of power and influence. Jordan isn't just any lawyer. His reputation precedes him. He's known for taking only high-profile cases that can bring in millions in fees. So when he walks up to the defendant's table and announces that he is representing Marcus Reed pro bono, a wave of shock ripples through the room. It's as if the entire justice system itself has paused to make sense of what's happening, because lawyers like Jordan Blake simply do not show up to defend homeless men accused of loitering. The unspoken question fills the air with deafening silence. Why would someone so powerful and expensive do this? Jordan could be anywhere at that moment, defending billionaires or celebrities caught in million-dollar scandals. Instead, he chose to be here, offering his services freely to a man the world had utterly forgotten. His decision defies every logic of the corporate world and raises suspicions of hidden motives that we've yet to uncover. It's as if pieces of a complex puzzle are being assembled before our eyes, though we still can't see the full picture. Jordan's presence turns what seemed like a simple court hearing into something far more meaningful and mysterious. The suspense becomes almost unbearable, because we know elite lawyers like Jordan Blake never act without purpose. Every move he makes is calculated, every decision rooted in a greater strategy beyond the obvious. His sudden arrival adds a layer of complexity that forces us to rethink everything we thought we understood about this case. It's fascinating how life can sometimes throw us into moments where the impossible becomes real, where unimaginable connections are revealed in the most dramatic ways. And as we watch Jordan take his place beside Marcus, we can't help but feel that we're on the brink of uncovering a truth that will forever change how we understand justice, honor, and the true worth of a human being. The atmosphere in the courtroom shifts completely as Jordan Blake begins unveiling the story that connects all the pieces of this extraordinary puzzle. With the skill of a master storyteller, he transports us to the battlefields of Fallujah, where gunfire and explosions composed a deadly symphony that tested the limits of human courage. It was 2004, and Lieutenant David Morales, brother of Judge Angela Morales, was trapped in an ambush with no way out, surrounded by insurgents in a crumbling building. The fear in the soldiers' eyes was palpable, as everyone knew that the situation could end in tragedy at any moment. It was in that desperate moment that First Sergeant Marcus Reed made a decision that would forever change not only David's fate, but also the course of their lives. Marcus didn't hesitate for a second in the face of mortal danger. Defying orders to wait for reinforcements, he ran through a storm of bullets, carrying the wounded David Morales over 200 meters to safety. What made Marcus extraordinary wasn't just his physical bravery, but his absolute refusal to leave a fellow Marine behind, even if it meant sacrificing his own life. That decision embodies the true spirit of the Marine Corps, where Semper Fidelis, always faithful, is not just a motto, but a way of life. David survived that day because of Marcus's heroism. He returned home to build a family and watch his sister become a respected judge. And now, the cruel irony of fate reveals itself in full. The same man who saved the life of the judge's brother stands before her as a defendant, discarded by society. It's as if the universe has created a final moral test, forcing Angela Morales to choose between the cold letter of the law and the emotional debt her family owes Marcus. This revelation changes everything. We are no longer discussing loitering or resisting arrest. We're talking about honor, sacrifice, and a heroic act that altered the course of multiple lives. As the truth of Marcus's past emerges, one haunting question remains. How will Angela react when she realizes the man standing before her saved her brother's life? The moment Judge Angela Morales breaks courtroom protocol to question Marcus directly is one of those rare instances that defines not just a trial, but an entire life. Her voice, trembling with emotion she struggles to contain, asks for details about that day in Fallujah. details only someone who had truly been there could know. Marcus answers with military precision, describing not only the events but small personal details about David, how he constantly spoke of his sister studying law and how he kept a photo of her in his uniform pocket. Each word Marcus speaks echoes through the courtroom as painful confirmation. The man beaten down by life is indeed the hero who saved David Morales. This kind of intimate knowledge can't be faked, and everyone in the room begins to realize they're witnessing something extraordinary. The moment becomes even more powerful when a veteran in the audience who served in the same unit stands up to confirm Marcus's account. With tears in his eyes, he recounts how he witnessed the heroic act and how Marcus never sought recognition, simply saying, "It was my duty as a Marine." This independent confirmation transforms what might have seemed like a convenient story into an undeniable truth that hits the courtroom with devastating force. The contrast between the hero described and the broken man in handcuffs creates an emotional tension almost too much to bear. It's as if two completely different realities are colliding before our eyes, forcing everyone to confront their own prejudices and assumptions. The emotional weight in the room is palpable, as the entire courtroom realizes they are witnessing a historical injustice on the verge of being corrected. Angela Morales visibly struggles to hold back tears as she listens to how Marcus saved her brother, and in her eyes we see the crushing moral responsibility settling in. The recognition Marcus has long deserved is finally approaching, but in a way no one could have imagined. It's fascinating to witness the power of truth, how it can change the entire atmosphere of a room and the perceptions of everyone inside it. As emotion floods the courtroom, we can't help but feel that we're about to witness a moment of poetic justice that will be etched in everyone's memory forever. What happens next is something not even Hollywood screenwriters would dare to imagine, because sometimes reality surpasses fiction in its power to move us. The courtroom doors open once more, and this time, military officers in impeccable uniforms march in with the precision that only decades of training can produce. At the front is Colonel Samuel Hayes, carrying a small box that gleams under the courtroom lights, holding something that will change Marcus Reed's life forever. The silence is absolute. Everyone senses that they are about to witness a historic moment that transcends the courtroom itself. It's as if destiny conspired to create this scene of redemption, where justice finally cuts through the red tape and societal prejudice. When Colonel Hayes announces that Marcus's Silver Star is being upgraded to the Navy Cross, the second highest military decoration in the United States, and presents it to him, something magical happens in the courtroom. It's not just a medal being awarded. It's the long overdue acknowledgement of heroism that was forgotten by the system, but never lost its value. Just moments ago, Marcus stood as a shackled criminal. Now he is being honored as the hero he has always been. The transformation is so dramatic, so powerful, that it's impossible not to be moved. It represents the best of what humanity can be, the ability to recognize someone's worth, regardless of their current circumstance. It's a powerful reminder that true honor is never erased by life's hardships. It remains an eternal flame that can be reignited at any moment. The emotional climax reaches its peak as the entire courtroom rises in unanimous respect, creating a moment of unity that transcends every social, racial, and economic divide present in that room. Judges, attorneys, clerks, spectators, everyone stands together in recognition of something greater than themselves. It's one of those rare moments in life where we witness humanity in its purest form, where what matters isn't appearance or status, but the character and actions of a single man. With tears in his eyes, Marcus finally receives the honor he deserved decades ago, not just from the military system, but from the heart of a community that has just learned an unforgettable lesson. Never judge a man by what life did to him until you know what he once did for others. With the moral authority that only a moment like this can bestow, Judge Angela Morales makes the most important decision of her decades-long judicial career. Her voice echoes through the courtroom with a firmness drawn not only from her role as a magistrate, but from a deep conviction about what is right and just. All charges against Marcus Reed are dismissed immediately, not just dropped or suspended, but entirely erased from his record, as if they had never existed. This is an act of justice that transcends legal protocol, acknowledging that some situations demand decisions grounded in humanity and common sense. In that moment, Angela is not just fulfilling her role as a judge, she is honoring her brother's memory and paying off a moral debt her family has carried for years. But her sense of justice goes further, showing that true fairness doesn't just fix present wrongs, it also seeks to repair past injustices. She orders that Marcus receive full veteran benefits retroactively, including medical care, housing, and a pension to ensure his dignity for the rest of his life. This decision means far more than financial compensation. It's a formal recognition that society failed a man who dedicated his life to serving it. It's powerful to witness how true justice doesn't merely stop doing harm, but actively works to heal what's been broken. Marcus doesn't just walk out of that courtroom a free man. He leaves with the assurance that he'll never have to sleep on the streets or worry about basic survival again. Marcus's legal transformation is swift and complete. From homeless defendant to honored veteran, granted all the rights and recognition he should have received decades ago. It's as if the justice system finally remembered its purpose, serving real people with real compassion, not just cold procedure. This resolution doesn't just right a personal wrong, it becomes a powerful example of how the system can work when it chooses humanity over bureaucracy. And as we watch Marcus absorb this radical shift in his legal fate, we're left wondering how the very community that once ignored him will now respond, now that his true identity has finally come to light. The most moving transformation in this entire story unfolds in the moments that follow, when people who once crossed paths with Marcus during his years on the street begin to approach him with a mix of shame and admiration in their eyes. Dwayne, the cook at a small restaurant who used to slip Marcus leftover sandwiches when no one was looking, is the first to step forward, tears welling up. He admits that he always sensed something special about Marcus, but never imagined he was feeding a war hero. His voice shakes as he apologizes for not asking more, for not doing more, for offering scraps when he could have offered dignity. It's a moment that reminds us how even small acts of kindness can hold more meaning than we realize, especially when they're the only kindness someone receives. The public prosecutor, who just minutes earlier was ready to prosecute Marcus for minor offenses, now approaches with a humility rarely seen in people accustomed to wielding institutional power. His expression carries the weight of a painful lesson learned. We never truly know who's in front of us until we take the time to learn their story. He apologizes, not just in a formal, professional way, but with the raw sincerity of someone who realizes he nearly committed a terrible injustice against a national hero. It's astonishing to witness how a single moment of revealed truth can transform entire dynamics, shattering prejudices, resetting relationships, and forcing reflection. His gesture shows that even in the most rigid environments, personal growth is possible when we're willing to confront uncomfortable truths. This wave of reconnection represents something deeper than apologies. It's a collective acknowledgement that society failed someone who deserved its respect and care. Each person who now comes to Marcus carries a personal story of missed opportunities for human connection, moments when they could have seen beyond the surface and discovered the extraordinary man before them. It's a powerful reminder that we all have the power to make a difference in someone's life, but only if we're brave enough to look past appearances and truly engage with those around us. And as we witness this emotional reconciliation unfold, we're left wondering how this moment will ripple through Marcus's life, especially in his capacity to forgive and rebuild. In the days following the trial, we are granted a glimpse into the most profound and touching chapter of this extraordinary story. Marcus learns that David Morales, the soldier he rescued in Fallujah, had spent years trying to find him, sending letters through the military system that never reached their destination due to Marcus's homeless status. When Marcus finally receives this stack of lost letters, over a dozen of them, he experiences something he hadn't felt in decades, the feeling of being remembered. Each letter reveals a fragment of the life David built after returning home: his marriage, the birth of his children, his career as a teacher, and always the gratitude for the man who gave him a second chance at life. It's impossible not to be moved by the image of Marcus reading those delayed words, each one infused with timeless love and recognition. The meeting between Marcus and Judge Angela Morales after the trial takes place far from legal procedures and cameras, in a quiet cafe where two human beings can speak simply, honestly. Angela shares stories about her brother that Marcus had never heard, how David often spoke about the Marine who saved him, how he never stopped trying to find him, and how their family had carried a debt of gratitude they feared they could never repay. It's fascinating how intimate conversations can heal wounds we didn't even know existed, creating a bridge of understanding that transcends the circumstances that brought them together. Marcus listens, eyes filled with tears, finally realizing that even in his darkest moments, he was never truly forgotten, only temporarily lost in life's maze of misfortune and red tape. Marcus's emotional arc comes full circle when he quietly says something that encapsulates his entire journey. For the first time in years, I feel remembered. That simple phrase carries devastating emotional weight because it means more than public recognition or government benefits. It means his humanity and dignity, long eroded by life on the streets, have finally been restored. The hope shining in his eyes isn't just about having a roof or meals. It's about having reclaimed his identity, his story, his purpose. It's a reminder that every human being needs to feel seen, valued, and remembered, not for what life did to them, but for who they truly are. And as we watch Marcus begin this new chapter of his life, we are left with a transformative lesson about the power of empathy, the redemptive force of truth, and the timeless truth that it is never too late to do what is right. After hearing the story of Marcus Reed, can you really go on living as if nothing has changed? The truth is, each of us walks past dozens of Marcuses every single day, people whose extraordinary stories are hidden behind appearances we're too quick to ignore. How many chances have you missed to make a difference simply because you judged a book by its cover? How many forgotten heroes are still out there, waiting for someone to care enough to learn their real story? This isn't just a call for more empathy. It's a direct challenge to radically transform the way you see and interact with the world around you. So why not start today? The next time you see someone in a vulnerable situation, instead of looking away, offer not just material help, but the most valuable gift of all: your genuine attention and your shared humanity. Because the difference between being forgotten and being remembered might be as simple as a 5-minute conversation. The question that lingers is this: will you keep being part of the problem or choose to become part of the solution? Marcus Reed no longer needs our recognition, but there are thousands of others out there still waiting, still hoping for someone to look past the surface. The power to transform a life is quite literally in your hands. The real question is, will you have the courage to use it? If this story touched your soul and you want to keep discovering real stories that challenge your beliefs and shift your entire perspective on life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because there's much more revolutionary content coming your way, content that will make you question everything you think you know about justice, humanity, and the true meaning of making a difference.